Welcome to Camnet TV Main News. I am Precious Mzea Sakaleji. Headlines. Zambia is more divided after the August 12th election, charges Bishop John MAMBO. Former National Assembly Deputy Speaker entangled in COMESA market land wrangles. And embattled KABUSHI Member of Parliament BOWMAN LUSAMBO given back his property. And in international news, TOGO'S government alleges 15 assailants killed during last week's attack. And in sports, young Red Arrows ready to take on young Green Buffalo Saturday. Join me with the details after this commercial.
Are you a married man or woman? Are you encountering challenges in your marriage? Are you planning to take your marriage and love relationship to higher levels? Your business platform is all set for you as a couple. You are invited to attend Zambia's First Love and Marriage Plus Business Conference. Amidst uncertainties in the economy, higher divorce rate in the world, plan to be one of the most successful couple in Zambia. Date 28th May 2022. Time from 9 hours to 16 hours. Participation fee 1,200 kwacha per couple. Lunch inclusive. For registration, payment can be done through MTN mobile money on 0962 965 883 or 0979 753 010 for Airtel Money. Venue, the Healing Word Ministries International. Speakers, Professor and Mrs. Catherine Munkumba. And your hosts, Pastors Victoria and Moses Chilwa. This is a must-attend conference. Plan and make a date with us. Your lives, marriage, and future will never be the same. Remember, we are born for greatness. Book for your seats by calling 0962 965 883. See you on the 28th May 2022.
In other main news in detail, over 20 traders at COMESA market who were given council land as a temporary operating space while the construction of markets to house them is underway have had their stalls illegally demolished by former Deputy Speaker Catherine Namugala. In an interview, Area Councillor Aaron Mwanza, who was with the aggrieved traders, says the demolition has been done illegally as it was done privately and not by the council, leading to the traders losing property worth thousands of kwacha. The traders have been running battles with the named political official as the market stalls, despite not being on her land, are located in front of her shopping complex. Camnet TV contacted Catherine Namugala, who declined to comment and said the matter was private.
This is what is left of 22 market stores that were constructed on council land at Lusaka's COMESA market, as they have allegedly been illegally demolished by a named political official who feels that the stores are obstructing her newly constructed shopping complex. Area Councillor Aaron Mwanza explains that the Lusaka City Council in April 2022 demolished some makeshift stores in the said area, which were constructed on a road reserve, after the owners were allocated space in the Simon Wewa Lane market, which is almost complete. He, however, explains that those on the other side were allowed to continue trading by the council, while construction of markets is still underway. A wrangle has, however, emerged after the former Deputy Speaker Catherine Namugala allegedly arranged for a private demolition exercise of the said shops, as she feels they are obstructing her shopping complex, despite them being located 2 meters away and being on council land. The traders explained that they woke up to a rude shock Thursday morning as they found their stores demolished and their goods with thousands of kwacha missing.
Pamanitana nda kulipira ndarama kuja kuma shops kwao tinapeza ati ma shops bapasa matanzaniani ise kuno kwenzeri be alliance wane bana pasako so ise chancha tidabwisa no notice could be video voice and then tu ukacha be lokusenti peza ati ma container bapwanya and then mwenza na magatundu mu container sitina peza ko saka ya katundu ro emozi stiz bana kone kuli katundu ya tubano so fanisika elo manja bapwanya usiku tina kenzo choka kuno mairo kuma 19 bena ngovenzo choka ko kuma 20 magatundu yonse yenze ko bulo kwendo kukucha lelo ine nafika kuno kuma 7 na mono lo COMESA market nje basi atuma 1 meter tuma road mae veta mpasa kona ule mtamsira 200
2 meters kuchoka ku office yake, but still akali kusebenzesa baja abantu kuchachani kupwanya kupeza bapwanya makatundu mwenze mavovala ma jean trousers ma blankets ma slippers ma goods yonse kulibe kaya na kwa mene vaenda mwaona ka. So ise tinkala ni chankala ni choti dabu isa kutinanga ni chani bankala na nzeru zaso
chana tinaona cha next naona beba bwera mantu bake bamba kutipwanira ise titamangire manje kuchipani ku office tite report tinaona be confusion up until now boro pesa mungalero ndipwanya vonse na makatundu yatu ya sova nsimbi zama santezo yuzinga kupanga ma containers tila space. So tifuna na mgala shwa bwera tiuze tavutika tibeko enda
Area Councillor Aaron Mwanza, who was with the traders, has expressed disappointment at the act.
So now we have reported this matter to the police and want the police to act and apprehend everybody who was involved in demolishing these makeshifts, and they are going to be responsible to compensate these people. And for now, we don't have anywhere we can take these marketeers. They will be here until we find an alternative place. You can go to Lumumba Road, Chachacha, Freedom Way. It's full. We are trying to decongest the streets, but not here. Here it's better than going out. If these people we move from here, they'll go into Lumumba. And you know the situation in Lumumba Road, it's very catastrophic. Meanwhile,
when contacted for a comment, the accused had this to say. Yes, I was saying this is Zipporah from Camnet.
Who do you want to speak to?
Madam Namgala.
What about?
About the demolition of those market stores there at COMESA Market.
So what has that got to do with you?
I'm a journalist, and the councillor says those people have been, the demolition has been done illegally.
That's a thing that should be a private matter, Mama. That's not for public consumption.
All right, thank you.
Thank you very much.
By broadcast time, the traders were knocking at the gate of the said complex, demanding for their property. Zipporah Mshala, Camnet News, Lusaka.
Public service bus stations operating from Lusaka's Millennium Bus Station have expressed disappointment at government's failure to actualize the directive that all buses operate from designated bus stations. Millennium Bus Station manager Watson Sakala has told Camnet News in an interview that the practice of operating from undesignated stations has persisted since the previous administration. Mr. Sakala says this has affected the business for those operating from bus stations. Alex Chishimba checked Millennium Bus Station and those operating from Lusaka's Freedom Way area.
The Lusaka's Millennium Bus Station is getting deserted even more each day. It is one of Lusaka's public bus stations, which houses about 300 buses, but to this date, the station remains unoccupied, having only few buses, regarding thousands of red flags raised by both media and stakeholders over this issue for a long time. This is also against government's directive for all buses to operate in designated bus station. Some drivers at the station lament over the lack of business inside the station, saying they are tired of government's directives which are not coupled with action.
Somali yankala tuchewezi kapera nasi bonse bazange na chem freedom we imankala muno basi kutizule imankala ni 16 kwa mbolongo ngatwange na kuseni nishufunwe mbegeza paka 16 kwa ndepe uzalo
baje bamene balimo somkaenda mu freedom we zapeza balimo but bamene asenzera peza basi ilonga izalonga banye kati officer alimo so
and bus station manager Watson Sakala say they await on government permanent solution to this end.
But have you seen Millennium? We are not already we already maybe 2 buses, 3 buses a day. So no, as a government, we are waiting for the government. There is no way that like us at the station, we can't manage to chase the buses there ourselves. You know, it's a different company. If it is one company, you can sit down with those drivers, the company in the station. One is it's different companies. So drivers, many drivers, they are willing to load in there in the streets So as you see, the business is completely down.
A check by Camnet News found the Freedom Way full of buses operating freely, regardless presence of council officers. Meanwhile, Independence Ward 17 Councillor Wadienko Kumubotu says the council has embarked on a mass sensitization, bringing on board all drivers and stakeholders as a way of restoring the CBD's sanity.
We are working in conjunction with RATSA and Zambia Police to make sure that we stop. Most of this congestion is coming from bus operators that are using the roads as bus stations, which shouldn't be the case. So we are engaging with the respective stakeholders to stop them from doing that and to go back in the stations so that they can operate from there in, thereby decongesting the streets, and then there will be easy mobility for citizens like yourself and other people that want to go to town to conduct business or just to purchase one product or so.
This practice has highly contributed to the disorder and traffic congestion experienced by private motorists. The UPND administration, through its Ministry of Local Government and Rural Development, have attempted to stop this vice, but it seems it was an exercise in futility, as buses still enjoys the freedoms of the Freedom Way, thereby taking over the traffic.
The above can never continue unabated. I therefore would like to direct all local authorities working with relevant stakeholders. In this case, the Zambia Police are here, the RATSA are here, the bus drivers themselves, the bus operators, the owners of taxis, to ensure that there's complete compliance to the law.
One would hope for nothing but more effort from the powers that be to restore sanity in Zambia's capital city, which is the face of the country. Alex Shimba, Camnet News, in Lusaka.
The Chikondi Trust Foundation says Zambia's unity has been declining since the 12th August 2021 general elections, as witnessed by the increase in hate speech among political officials. Addressing the media on the state of the nation from the church point of view Thursday, Foundation President Bishop John MAMBO notes that this is, however, detrimental to the country's development as it is diverting attention from real issues. Meanwhile, speaking at the same event, Foundation Ambassador George Zulu says the new administration's commitment to fighting corruption has also attracted a lot of criticism, stating that this should, however, not be allowed, as the president should be given enough room to fight the vice.
The United Party for National Development UPND administration, just like after any change of government, is under heavy scrutiny on how it is performing. The Chikondi Trust Foundation, however, says it has noted and drew criticism on the new administration, which has led to a breakdown in national unity. Addressing the media Thursday, Foundation President Bishop John MAMBO says the country has digressed from its universal goal of national development, as some political players have been attacking the UPND administration with unwarranted hate speech on various media platforms.
We are Africans before anything. Biblically, it's very clear that you need to respect your parents. But what we have seen now, I think I started opening my mouth during Kaunda's days towards that, after he took me a free education all the way. But once I started walking with shoes, I could tell where things was not right. But never have we ever insulted Kaunda. Later on, the president after him. But of late, it's a direct insult, not just to those in authority. It has become a norm. It's part of our language, insulting and all that. Why don't you advance or we advance our arguments based on loving and all that?
Meanwhile, speaking at the same event, Foundation Ambassador George Zulu says it is shocking that despite calls for the fight against corruption to move beyond lip service, the UPND administration has come under heavy attack for various arrests made through the country's investigative wings.
It is our belief that those who served and continue to serve in public office should not underplay citizens' resolve to fight corruption by reducing it to an ethnic prosecution exercise. Reducing the fight against corruption to ethnic persecution is not only unfortunate, but won't buy anyone freedom. It won't buy anyone freedom or immunity from prosecution.
Chikondi Trust Foundation trustee Bishop Joseph Kajila has also added his voice.
And let's give support. I said let us give development a chance. If we cannot develop at least in these 3 years, then we are doomed. Look, Zambia is almost 60 years. If it was a person who would say this is a senior citizen, but we are still, kept at a level where you can't show anything.
The foundation has urged the UPND administration to remember their promises, including the upholding of the country's morals against gay rights. Zipporah Mshala, Camnet News, Lusaka.
Lusaka Magistrate Albert Mwaba has ordered that embattled Kabushi Member of Parliament BOWMAN LUSAMBO be given back his property that the Anti-Corruption Commission seized recently. According to the order, a warrant seizure does not serve the purpose for which it was intended, and if it did, it could still not be in order to have both warrant of seizure and restriction notice on the same properties in force at the same time.
Embattled Kabushi Member of Parliament BOWMAN LUSAMBO says what differentiates his house in Chamba Valley that was recently seized by the Anti-Corruption Commission is the roof, while comparing other houses in the area as chicken runs. Mr. LUSAMBO was speaking after the court ordered that his house be given back to him while setting aside the warrant of seizure used by the Anti-Corruption Commission to grab his property.
We have seen people saying, no, it is okay, we need our money back. That property, how can the dad get the money to put up this type of a house? No, because this is just a simple property. The thing which differentiates this house from other chicken lands in New Kasama, it's because of the pillars which I've put to this house. Okay. I brought in our colleague, a Zambian colleague, by the name of Jerry. Jerry came, because this is just a simple house, and he redesigned the outside of this house. So the people have been coming here. They thought this house maybe, it is the house which has consumed so.
Lusaka Magistrate Albert Mwaba Thursday morning, the 19th of May 2022, made this order following an application that was made by Mr. LUSAMBO through his counsel to set aside the same. According to the court order, the warrant of seizure was irregularly issued, as an affidavit in support was not filed in court as required by the law. The property that was seized by the commission was among the other properties subjected of an inquiry in a case Mr. LUSAMBO is jointly charged with his wife with allegations of being in possession of property suspected of being proceeds of crime, among other things. Meanwhile, Mr. LUSAMBO says he will increase security as he does not know what the Anti-Corruption Commission is planning on him.
The house belongs to my family, and this is the only property which we have as a family. So moving away from this property, it was something very bad to us. Our daughters have been pursuing us. We want to go back home. We want to go and see our zebras. We want to go and see our impra. We want to go and see our animals. And we told them we have just come here for vacation. Because I've been moving from one place to another, putting into consideration my security, because I don't know what these guys they are planning. Because for people to come and evict you from your family house, that is very serious. That is very serious. So anything can happen. So we have been in a street. We have been moving from one street to another.
Miriam Kaimba reporting for Camnet TV News.
Auntie to the late Dr. Tarsila Tembo, who was murdered by her military boyfriend, Lieutenant Nigo Mwaba, has told the Lusaka High Court that her niece's body was found partially buried and covered in a sack. Testifying in a case in which renowned Dr. Tembo was brutally murdered, 66-year-old Pedi Miti told High Court Judge Wilfred Muma that she spoke to her niece on the 23rd of October 2020 after she called her while crying, alleging that her life was in danger. This is in a matter in which Lieutenant Mwaba is charged with 1 count of murder, contrary to Section 200 of the Penal Code, Chapter 87 of the laws of Zambia.
The Lusaka High Court has heard the chilly testimony from late renowned Dr. Tarsila Tembo's aunt after the matter came up for trial Thursday at the Lusaka High Court. Fedi Miti, 66, testified before High Court Judge Wilfred Muma that she last talked to her niece on October 23, 2020, when she called while crying, alleging that she was living in danger as her lover, Lieutenant Nigel Mwaba, refused to end their love affair. Miss Miti testified that after then, she never heard from her and was later called and informed by Woodlands police officers that Dr. Tembo had been murdered. She says after information emerged that Dr. Tarsila had been killed, a team of soldiers and police officers accompanied them to Mikango Barracks, where the deceased body was exhumed and removed from the sack, then identified. Meanwhile, other witnesses testified that Mwaba was frequently seen visiting Dr. Tembo's grave. At the time, the suspect was on the run for almost a month. They testified that Mwaba was apprehended in Lusaka's Memorial Park after a tip from the public who contacted the army of his presence at the private cemetery. So far, 23 witnesses out of 39 have testified in the matter. In this matter, Lieutenant Nigel Mwaba is charged with 1 count of murder, contrary to Section 200 of the Penal Code, Chapter 87 of the laws of Zambia. It is alleged that Lieutenant Mwaba murdered Dr. Tarsila Tembo between October 24th and 26, 2020. However, Lusaka High Court Judge Wilfred Muma has adjourned the matter to Friday 20th May for continuation of trial. Nelson Zulu for Camnet News.
The Constitutional Court has stayed criminal proceedings that former Konkola Copper Mines provincial liquidator Milingolungu is currently facing before the Lusaka Magistrate Court. According to a ruling, the Constitutional Court states that the proceedings against Mr. Milingolungu will be stayed in the lower court until determination of the case before it. This is in a case in which Mr. Milingolungu has dragged the government to the Constitutional Court seeking an order for his purported arrest as an abuse of criminal proceedings because he was given immunity.
It seemed like a sign of relief for former Konkola Copper Mines provisional liquidator Milingolungu following a decision by the Constitutional Court Thursday morning, the 19th of May 2022, to stay criminal proceedings that is currently facing before the Lusaka's Magistrate Court. Mr. Lungu, who in this case has sued government, the Drug Enforcement Commission and another, seeking an order that his purported arrest is an abuse of criminal proceedings because he was granted immunity. He, however, has to wait for the Constitutional Court to look at the issues he raised before a final judgment can be delivered. In its ruling this morning, the court states that it will be prejudicial to Mr. Lungu if the criminal proceedings before the Magistrate Court continue to be heard before the Constitutional Court determines on the constitutional issues that he raised in his petition. The court has also ruled that no one should take action in the criminal proceedings that Mr. Lungu is facing in the lower court until it determines the petition on the constitutional issues. According to his petition before the Constitutional Court, Mr. Lungu wants the court to grant him an order of prohibition directed at the Attorney General Boyd Munalula, a senior investigative officer at the Anti-Money Laundering Unit of the Drug Enforcement Commission, and Administrator General, restricting them from investigating, arresting and prosecuting him in respect of his performance as provisional liquidator of KCM. He also wants the court to quash the DEC decision to charge and arrest him on April 7, 2022 for possession of property reasonably suspected of being proceeds of crime. In his earlier argument before court, Mr. Lungu had stated that the bargain was made in the public and state interest to secure a critical national asset from ruin and loss, as no payment would be honored by the banks on account that the official receiver who had purported to take over the running of KCM had no legal mandate to manage and administer KCM. Mr. Lungu had also stated that the same was also done to enable him provide critical information to the auditors without running the risk of self-incrimination, and also to reconcile the statement of account between KCM and him made on their understanding that the matter was a civil and not a criminal nature. We wait to see the final judgment by the Constitutional Court. Miriam Kaimba, reporting for Camnet TV News.
In other news, Network for Young People Against Violence is appealing to the Anti-Corruption Commission (SEC) to investigate the serious allegations that have been leveled against the Director of Public Prosecutions (DPP), Madam Lillian Siyuni. Speaking at a press briefing, Thursday, organization's director Moses Kasonde says there is nothing special about the DPP, adding that she too should be investigated. Mr. Kasonde notes that the Zambian people need to know exactly what transpired in the issue she has been entangled in, because she is a public figure holding public office which demands transparency and accountability. The DPP has in the recent past been a center of debate in various sections of the media and public offices in a matter involving former Konkola Copper Mines provisional liquidator Melingo Lungu.
As Network for Young People Against Violence (NIPAV), we would like to appeal to Anti-Corruption Commission (SEC) to investigate the serious allegations raised against the Director of Public Prosecutions (DPP), Madam Lillian Siyuni, by the President of Judicial and Allied Workers Union of Zambia, Mr. Peter Mwale, and his General Secretary, Mr. Vincent Makondo, with the seriousness it deserves. The Anti-Corruption Commission summoned 2 High Court judges and recorded a warn and caution statement. Therefore, what is so special about the learned DPP? As an organization that believes in transparency, we feel the matter concerning the DPP must be looked into urgently and in the public interest. As Network for Young People Against
Iteji Member of Parliament Mutinta Twambo has bemoaned the situation at Iteji Hospital, stating that patients are being sent to Lusaka as the hospital's X-ray machine has not been operating for 3 months now. The MP, who conducted an inspection at the hospital Thursday morning, explains that this has disadvantaged the delivery and cost of healthcare, as well as delaying treatment. He has since called on the Ministry of Health and other line ministries to look into this matter with the urgency it deserves.
Indeed, I want to confirm that it is a hospital for the past 3 months plus. It has been running without X-ray scan machine. I think it's not the correct thing, and from the investigations that I've done with the medical team, they are indicating that the machine that is at the hospital was bought 18 years ago, and in the past years they've tried to make efforts to engage government to procure a new machine, and all the efforts have not succeeded. Basically, I think the situation at the hospital is bad, and it's creating a huge cost on the part of the people, because the people, they walk long distances to the hospital. Upon arrival at the hospital, they are also referred to Lusaka just for a simple scan. Additionally, I think it's a compromise on the quality provision of health services, because the hospital at the moment, it cannot take steps on patients whom they don't do a thorough scan. So to me, it's a serious compromise on the quality provision of health services. I want to confirm that engagements have started with the provincial office and also the director and also the PS technical to see to it that the situation is normalized, and the people, they get the much desired health services that they deserve.
Mazaboka Central 2026 aspiring Member of Parliament Maxwell Mwinga has offered himself to provide free public awareness on farming and running cooperatives to community members of the constituency. Mr. Mwinga, who has fully endorsed government call of farming cooperatives, says once actualized, the move will reduce and eventually eradicate poverty, which is seemingly high countrywide. The aspiring lawmaker explains that cooperatives will keep all residents of a particular constituency busy by being involved in various money-making activities such as construction, farming, processing, marketing, and supplying. Mr. Mwinga has since encouraged residents in various communities to welcome the idea of forming cooperatives and companies in order to benefit from the Constituency Development Fund. And Mr. Mwinga has applauded President Hakainde Hichilema's resolve to grow the local economy through its own citizens.
Residents in our communities must welcome the idea of forming cooperatives and companies in order to benefit from the Constituency Development Fund, which has been increased by His Excellency President Hakainde Hichilema. Like any other new chief marketing officer that the President pledged to be for Zambians, he has proven to be business-oriented, and if citizens have to benefit from his skills, they must buy into the idea of cooperatives by registering cooperatives and companies in groups. Cooperatives have the potential to eradicate poverty, as they can keep all constituency residents busy by being involved in various money-making activities such as construction, farming, processing, marketing, and supply. All this is brought about by the increase in the amount of constituency development funds.
The Ministry of Technology and Science has signed a €10 million Memorandum of Understanding with ASSAILANTS Data System of Europe, focused on developing new solutions and services for ZAMBIA. Technology and Science Minister Felix Mutati, who delegated the signing ceremony in Lusaka Thursday, says the MOU will put ZAMBIA at the toe of global technology and says a transitional contract to move the process to a point of delivery is expected to be signed in July this year. The MOU signing was also witnessed by EU Commissioner for Agriculture Janusz Wojciechowski, EU Ambassador to Zambia Jacek Jankowski, Commerce, Trade and Industry Minister Chipoka Mulenga, and Small and Medium Enterprises Development Minister Elias Muwanga. Meanwhile, ASSAILANTS Data Systems Senior Director for International Business Paul Hansofer says the MOU is a second step towards supporting the Ministry of Technology and Science in the digitalization process of Zambian institutions and government.
ASSAILANTS is the sixth largest software company in Europe. We are developing our operations in more than 60 countries right now and employing over 28,000 people across the planet. And now we are strongly believing that now we will in a few months we can say that we are present in 61 countries with a new presence in Zambia.
We are here to witness the beginnings of the transformation of ZAMPOST. ZAMPOST will now be exposed to global technology, tested technology. ZAMPOST will have opportunity to have e-commerce platforms. It will have opportunity to have e-banking and indeed many other solutions.
And today, Honorable Minister, what you have achieved for the country is a milestone. Communication is critical. Post offices cannot continue to operate in their conventional way they used to. Technology has evolved. There is WhatsApp, there is messaging, there is email. So we can't keep transacting in the same old-fashioned manner that we used to.
Looking for as a ministry is to see these funds as quickly as possible, project start, because this is where now the SMEs are coming in, especially for this agreement. Digital platforms are extremely important for the SMEs because these are now the agents that will be used to accomplish the intended purpose.
We take our first set of commercials. We'll be back with more news after this.
We take risks every day, with some big things and some little things. Other risks are out of our control. But no matter what's important in your life, Savenda Insurance has got you covered. Whether it's for your home, vehicle, investments, or the people you love, you shouldn't have to worry about securing the future. Let us handle that. Since 2014, we have helped Zambians protect their health and personal property, offering peace of mind and fostering progress and development. Taking risks is what makes us grow. Insurance is what keeps us going strong.
Team, the trajectory of the business looks very positive, and it looks like we'll be able to launch the ministry.
There's so much data.
Mom?
Yes, baby?
It says here, global warming and climate change is caused by the pollution from careless activities of human beings.
Wow!
Son, do you know I can turn my phone into a TV remote?
How's that possible?
It's so easy. Check this out.
Be smart, be fast with mega data from Zamtel. Get your 15 GB mobile data for only 100 kwacha, 30 GB mobile data for only 200 kwacha, and your 70 GB LTE data bundle with free Netflix, YouTube, Facebook, and WhatsApp. Visit our Facebook page, website, or service centers countrywide for more information. Zamtel, your digital lifestyle partner.
Are you a married man or woman? Are you encountering challenges in your marriage? Are you planning to take your marriage and love relationship to higher levels? Your business platform is all set for you as a couple. You are invited to attend Zambia's First Love and Marriage plus Business Conference. Amidst uncertainties in the economy, higher divorce rate in the world, plan to be one of the most successful couple in Zambia. Date 28th May 2022. Time from 9 hours to 16 hours. Participation fee 1,200 kwacha per couple, lunch inclusive. For registration, payment can be done through MTN mobile money on 0962 965 883 or 0979 753 010 for Airtel Money. Venue, the Healing Word Ministries International. Speakers, Professor and Mrs. Catherine Munkumba. And your hosts, Pastors Victoria and Moses Chilo. This is a must-attend conference. Plan and make a date with us. Your lives, marriage, and future will never be the same. Remember, we are born for greatness. Book for your seats by calling 0962 965 883. See you on the 28th May 2022.
Your love always brings me back.
Welcome back. We'll continue with the rest of the news. Program against carbon extinction has called for more investment in the growing of an indigenous Bwanda tree, which has many beneficial properties, among them producing cotton and seeds that can be used for medicinal purposes. Organization coordinator Mahau Usiku says venturing in the growing of the tree will support green growth, reduce carbon emission by producing bio-oil, as well as create employment for the local people in Western Province. And Western Province Tourism, Trade and Investment Expo Program Coordinator Kelvin Kamoyoyo says the province has great potential to transform Zambia if investors can take advantage of the conducive environment and invest in the province.
Zambia is a home to Western Province endowed with many natural resources which has great potential to contribute to the development of the country. Yet the province has remained one of the least developed with poverty levels at 84%. Attempts are being made by the new administration to see how much development can be taken to the province through the hosting of the Tourism, Trade and Investment Expo in September of this year. The province was also among the many institutions exhibiting at the just-ended European Union Zambia Economic Forum in Lusaka, which was officially opened by the country's President Hakainde Hichilema. And Program Against Carbon Extinction Coordinator Muhau Usiku has called for more investment in an indigenous tree called Bwanda, which it says has a lot of beneficial properties.
This tree is called Bwanda, so it produces cotton. It produces seedlings. So of all the economic gains that we are talking about this tree, we are talking about value addition, we are talking about coming up with feed, we are talking about coming up with medicinal that can cure diabetes, BP, cancer, colon, and many more. We are talking about fertilizer, we are talking about oil there, we are talking about cotton, that is used in many forms.
And Western Province Tourism, Trade and Investment Expo Programs Coordinator Kelvin Kamayoyo emphasized the need for value addition and has called on more companies to consider investing in the province.
Tourism in the sense that we are exhibiting already things that have already started. Value addition has started. But what we want to do is to increase production and also productivity. And we will do this, we achieve this through clean technology. And the only place where we can get clean technology is from the EU. And that's why we are here now, to ensure that we identify those companies that are really have advanced in technology and also see the opportunity to partner with us and add value more on our products that we are already producing. And basically we are focusing on agriculture and also forestry, and also livestock and fisheries.
And Expo Chairperson for Mobilization and Marketing Irene Muyenga says about 4 companies have so far indicated to be platinum sponsors of the Expo and that the province is looking to other innovations that will allow for more raising of resources for the province.
We are also looking at activities that will assist us raise money for the same. Currently we're looking at having, say, meet the president. We are also looking at having a football tournament because first we want to engage FARS to come on board because as you are aware, we've never had a FARS tournament in Western Province.
With Zambia looking to becoming a prosperous middle-income country by the year 2030, more investment in all provinces is needed and value addition should be key on the agenda. Prudence Chota, reporting for Camnet TV News.
The Small-Scale Farmers Development Agency, SAFADA, says government should consider exploiting avocado farming in a bid to diversify crop production in the country. In an interview with Camnet News, SAFADA Director Boyd Mowe says avocado farming has the potential to contribute positively to the diversification agenda that government has been calling for. Mr. Mowe says once fully supported, Zambia can add avocado to its agro-export, something he says can contribute to the growth of the economy.
Government needs to introduce such projects, crops to farmers and help them. I remember at one time there was an international organization that was trying to engage farmers into avocado production. And the target was almost about 3,000 farmers somewhere in northwestern province, if not mistaken. But after that information, it's quite. So it's difficult, it's not sustainable, and inconsistent, it's quite inconsistent because farmers will be introduced to some crops, but later farmers are left in suspense. So we just appeal to government to look into this and put up a proper package on how the farmers can be assisted to venture into other crops such as avocado. The most important aspect that needs to be addressed is the market because, of course, locally I've got high demand for avocado. You know, avocado locally is called the caterpillar. So people like it, and I've seen a lot of people buying, but it doesn't fetch good money because of probably the quality and the scarcity of the product. At times it's not available. So if farmers are engaged to plant it on commercial basis, I think farmers will be happier than they are now.
Residents of Lusaka's Chilenje area have called on government to consider completing works at stalled mini civic center in the area. In an interview with Camnet News, a former worker at the site, Mr. John Kunda, says the project, which was started in 2018, was supposed to have been completed in 2020, but that construction works were abandoned by a Chinese company engaged in the project. Meanwhile, Kamwala Ward 5 Councillor Mainda Simata says government should consider completing such projects to ease the mobility of councillors who do not have formal offices to operate from.
The construction of this mini civic center in Lusaka's Chilenje township has stalled after the Chinese contractor abandoned the works. The infrastructure, whose construction commenced in 2018, was supposed to have been completed in 2020, but the structure has been a white elephant, just like many other incomplete infrastructure in the country. And a former worker at the site, John Kunda, has told Camnet News that the Chinese contractor who was engaged had abandoned the works, citing non-funding from the government.
Nisebenzerapo pano pa project ya pano inamba mu 2018. So manje chinalengesa kuti project ifike pano sisira ni atinkani ya ndrama ma Chinese bayembekeza ndrama ati amene banasebenzera pati bachite continue kumanga. So manje inayimira citizen bavamene bichitika pa manje up to now. So nkara chabe na kuyembekeza mu Chinese na hivi ama nifunza chabe ati abantu banaonekera namuza ati karibu oneka so na manje ayembekeza pa mu Chinese.
Another resident told this reporter that the civic centers, once completed, will help reduce the transportation cost that they incur every time they have civic matters.
But palino ntawe isewa kuno ni benefit yatu nda ku civic center kutalimpa kambiri. That's why muntu ankana na mabills yambiri. Kaya azapeza ndrama ingono instead alipile azasebenzisa na transport kutaka fike kuja. Manje beta ya sira tikazienda chena mendo pamene apata talipira tachitavameti funa vose ya concerning kusiva ku civic center nishikwa sira so chingankale musha kuti waisirizisa chabe.
Meanwhile, Kamwala Ward 5 Councillor Mainda Simata says councillors face challenges in carrying out their duties due to lack of proper office infrastructure to carry out their work. He says it is more the reason that government should consider releasing finances to complete the works at this site.
First of all, I'd like to state that with the increase in the CDF from 1.6 to 25.7, it has brought upon a lot of duties and responsibilities, not just on the councillors, but also on the team that works with councillors, that is the WDC or the Ward Development Committee. Now, the major challenge that is being faced in administering the processes and responsibilities of the WDC, such as capturing people that are applying for bursaries and skills development, those that are applying for empowerment, either grants or loans, as well as having community meetings and doing the paperwork for projects. The challenge is that there is lack of office space or offices where councillors and their WDC teams can be working, places where they can easily be found and contacted within their wards by the residents of the community. So that has proved to be very problematic, not just for us as councillors, but also for the people, because most of the time people are asking for information and how to go about in applying for CDF, either bursaries or skills development or grants, but they don't know where to go.
And efforts to get a comment from the local government minister, Gary Nkombo, proved futile before broadcast time. Messi Chanika reporting for Camnet TV News in Lusaka.
In other news, the Commuter Rights Association has called on the government to empower cowboys with skills and other sources of empowerment if they are to be removed from the streets. Speaking to Camnet News, Communion Rights Magazine representative Liswaniso Mwanalunshi notes that this is because the street is the only source of livelihood for them. Mr. Mwanalunshi says government would not succeed in cleaning the city if nothing is brought on the table for the cowboys.
On 22nd April 2022, police in Lusaka fought running battles with cowboys at intercity bus terminals who staged a protest after they were chased from operating at the terminal in Lusaka. The cowboys explained that the commissions they are given from the bus operators for bringing a customer was their only source of income, and if they were chased from the bus terminals, they have no other means of survival. In a long time, cowboys have been known to be very hostile and violent to both the bus drivers and the commuters, leading to some sections of society even soliciting for them to be removed from the streets. And the Commuters' Rights Magazine CEO Liswaniso Mwanalunshi has since appealed to the government to empower the cowboys with skills before removing them from the streets so that they can have other means of income.
You can get those people. You can't just chase somebody. Without giving them an alternative way of living. And a Christian nation, for God's sake. Let's not be a brother's broker. Let's be a brother's helper. Let's not confine people in spaces where they can't do anything. No, we need to come out and help them. So my appeal as a representative of the commuters is that the government, through the bus station, manage and market manage. But it is, because those people, they just can't come in the bus station and start operating. But police, each bus station, there is a police post. The bus station manager and the police officer in charge there, they need to sit down. Now, chairman, various bus routes. But what is our? The option there's no way, but if you come back and pronouncements, they can't stay. These things will backfire. You saw what happened in Gade.
Meanwhile, a bus driver only identified as Musa has advised the cowboys to be more respectful when conducting their business. Cherish Sibote for Camnet News, Lusaka.
You're watching Camnet TV Main News with Tech. Our second set of commercials coming next is international and sports news.
Your skin is the biggest muscle in your body. That's why we make sure that Oracle is #1 when it comes to taking care of your precious skin. Oracle Pure Petroleum Jelly and Glycerin soothes, moisturizes and keeps your skin perfect. Oracle Pure Petroleum products for that perfect skin.
We take risks every day, with some big things and some little things. Other risks are out of our control. But no matter what's important in your life, Savenda Insurance has got you covered. Whether it's for your home, vehicle, investments, or the people you love, you shouldn't have to worry about securing the future. Let us handle that. Since 2014, we have helped Zambians protect their health and personal property, offering peace of mind and fostering progress and development. Taking risks is what makes us grow. Insurance is what keeps us going strong.
Are you a married man or woman? Are you encountering challenges in your marriage? Are you planning to take your marriage and love relationship to higher levels? Your business platform is all set for you as a couple. You are invited to attend Zambia's First Love and Marriage plus Business Conference. Amidst uncertainties in the economy, higher divorce rate in the world, plan to be one of the most successful couple in Zambia. Date 28th May 2022. Time from 9 hours to 16 hours. Participation fee 1,200 kwacha per couple. Lunch inclusive. For registration, payment can be done through MTN Mobile Money on 0962 965 883 or 0979 753 010 for Airtel Money. Venue, the Healing Word Ministries International. Speakers, Professor and Mrs. Catherine Munkumba. And your hosts, Pastors Victoria and Moses Chilunga. This is a must attend conference. Plan and make a date with us. Your lives, marriage and future will never be the same. Remember, we are born for greatness. Book for your seats by calling 0962 965 883. See you on the 28th May 2022.
Your love always brings me back.
Thank you for staying with us. We continue with the rest of the news and getting into our international item. Around 15 assailants were killed during a terrorist attack last week in the north of Togo that also left 8 soldiers dead, a minister said Wednesday. Togo's troops are deployed in the north of the country to try and contain a jihadist threat pushing south from Mali, Burkina Faso and Niger, where militants linked to Al-Qaeda and the Islamic State group operate. In the early hours of May 11th, about 60 gunmen on motorcycles launched a violent terrorist attack on a military post in Pinkapkandi near the border with Burkina Faso, killing 8 Togolese soldiers and wounding 13, the government said at the time. In another international item, for the first time, the new special representative of the UN Secretary General in the Central African Republic and head of the UN multi-dimensional integrated stabilization mission in the Central African Republic, Valentine Ragwiza, addressed the press conference in Bangui.
Togo's government said around 15 assailants were killed during a terrorist attack last week in the north of the country that also left 8 soldiers dead. The Togo's Security Minister, General Damiham Siak, on Wednesday evening said that according to well-informed sources, there were about 15 dead in the group of attackers. The minister further alleged that the attackers transported the bodies across borders where they were buried. In the early hours of May 11, about 60 gunmen on motorbikes launched a violent terrorist attack on a military post in Pikankande near the border with Burkina Faso, killing 8 Togolese soldiers and wounding 13. Togo's troops are deployed in the north of the country to try and contain the jihadist threat pushing south from Mali, Burkina Faso and Niger, where militants linked to Al-Qaeda and the Islamic State group operate. Soldiers had foiled an attack in November last year in the northern village of San Luanga, making last week's attack the first to have casualties. Violence from armed groups and criminal networks is on the rise across West Africa. In 3 years, the region has suffered more than 5,300 terror-related attacks, claiming around 16,000 lives.
Mark Rutherford, a British-Belgian 16-year-old who is attempting to break the current world record of youngest person to fly solo around the world, arrived Wednesday at Wilson Airport in Nairobi, Kenya. He was welcomed on the runway by students and staff of the Kenya School of Flying.
There have been quite a few difficult places in terms of visibility, such as Khartoum, where the visibility is quite low, but I've always managed to land perfectly safely. And then actually in Nairobi, the cloud base was very low, and there were high mountains, so I had to sort of weave around, but it was completely fine, and I'm very happy.
Rutherford's planned circumnavigation of the world using a Shark ultralight aircraft started on March 23 in Sofia, Bulgaria.
It's so important that young people do get involved in aviation because that really is investing in the future of aviation, and it's you know, if you ignore the young up-and-coming people, then you very quickly become rather an elderly and static organisation. And we find that some of the greatest innovation, energy and talent really comes from the youngest people, and Mac is a brilliant example of that.
Mac announced his plans on February 15 at London Biggin Hill Airport, which was less than a month after Zara Rutherford, his sister, completed the solo round-world flight, aged 19.
We're quite pleased to have him around, and at his age doing such a great task, it's inspiring. for us even as a school, and we're able to motivate the young aviators we have, those who are training in different levels, be it PPL, CPL, or even those who are doing their multi-training. It's quite a good thing. They're seeing this is a challenge, and of course through that they're able to work more and more towards achieving more.
He is currently in the middle of his A-levels and became the youngest pilot in the world after he qualified at age 15. The current record for the youngest person to circumnavigate the globe solo is held by Briton Travis Ludlow, who was 18 at the time. The new special representative of the UN Secretary General in the Central African Republic, Valentine Rugwabiza, has called for a readjustment of the UN force to protect civilians. Rugwabiza made the call in an address to the press in Bangui on Wednesday. We are observing violations by all parties to the conflict, not just some parties to the conflict, but all parties to the conflict. And you will certainly see towards the end of this month perhaps not from UN MISCA itself, but in any case from the United Nations. A number of reports will be made. The new representative also emphasized the worrying humanitarian situation, indicating that the humanitarian response plan for 2022, estimated at $461 million, needs to be funded more than ever.
J'ai tenu à demander un réajustement du concept de...
I wanted to ask for a readjustment of the concept of our force, of the MINUSCA force. In very simple words, the essence of this readjustment is to adopt a proactive and preventive posture of exactions on civilian populations on the basis of reliable information.
Sur les populations civiles sur la base d'informations fiables.
The UN mission in the Central African Republic, MINUSCA, was deployed by the UN in April 2014 to try to end the bloody civil war that began in 2013 after a coup against President Francois Bozize.
We now get into your sports story. Getting into cricket, where the BBC has reported that England fast bowler Jofra Archer will miss the entire season after suffering a stress fracture of the lower back. In another setback for the 27-year-old who has not played since last July following 2 elbow operations. Archer was on track in his recovery and was hoping to play domestic cricket this month, only to feel soreness in his back last week. He is also set to miss the T20 World Cup in Australia with autumn, with no time frame set for his return. It is the latest injury to England pace bowler, with 7, including Archer, ruled out of the summer's first test against New Zealand. And in rugby, according to BBC, George North-Freely admits he did not expect to see his name in the world squad to travel to South Africa this summer. But then this past year has been one of the most making of the unplanned. About 12 months ago, his summer was seemingly all laid out. A shift in position and an upturn in form had seen North help his country to a Six-Nation title, and his heart was set on a third Lions tour. Instead, as he tweeted at the time, the 105th Cup international was left heartbroken by serious knee injuries suffered in action with the Ospreys. It meant time parenting and podiatry rather than playing the Springboks, but also unplanned break from the game that he suggests now he's probably needed. Still in sports, but back home, the Lusaka Province First Division 3 Week 34 League comes to an end this Saturday in a game that will be played between Young Red Arrows and Young Green Buffaloes. In an interview with Camnet Sports, Young Red Arrows goalkeeper coach Daniel Mbao said after the training, his team is ready to take on Young Green Buffaloes. Mbao is confident that his team will carry the day as they expect nothing but a win.
Young Red Arrows are this weekend expected to complete the first Division 3 league against Young Green Buffaloes at Independence Stadium on the 21st of May 2022. Young Arrows, who recently played to a goalless game against Pauleni United, are confident that they will carry the day and win the league. In an interview with Camnet Sports, Red Arrows goalkeeper coach Daniel Mbao says his team has what it takes to win.
We are conducting our training session, which happens to be the last training session of the season, because the season is coming to an end this week on Saturday. We're playing in military derby, that is, we're playing with Young Green Buffaloes at Independence Stadium on Saturday in the morning at 10 hours. The team is well prepared. At least we have managed to achieve our goals, and we are being promoted to Division 2, which is a plus for us, which means our planning had gone on well, determined with the objective which we had of, if it's not winning the team, we're winning the league, but at least winning promotion.
Camnet Sports found the team training towards the forthcoming competition. Speaking at the same event, the team goalkeeper Christopher Kapina expects his counterparts to perform extremely well on the pitch.
Which has most costed us in the previous game is the concentration in the dying minutes, because most of our games we are being scored in the dying minutes. We have the lead in the dying minutes, we go to sleep, just a few minutes they score. So the most important thing which you have to work on is the concentration. When we are tired, we continue our concentration.
They have since called on soccer fans to turn up in numbers and support them. Blessings Chakwila, Camnet Sports, Lusaka.
That sports item brings us to the end of Camnet TV main news, but before we go, here are the headlines once again. Zambia is more divided after the August 12th election, charges Bishop John MAMBO. Former National Assembly Deputy Speaker entangled in COMESA market land wrangles. Embattled KABUSHI Member of Parliament BOWMAN LUSAMBO given back his property. In international news, TOGO'S government alleges 15 assailants killed during last week's attack. And in sports, Young Red Arrows ready to take on Young Green Buffaloes this Saturday. Our Camnet verse of the day is coming from the book of Revelation 4 verse 11, and it reads, Our Lord and God, you are worthy to receive glory and honor and power, because you have created all things, and because of your will they exist and were created. Thank you for watching. I am Precious Mzea Sakaleji. Pleasant viewing.